All right, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekakwadash. I want to give double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Men I learned this truth from. I want to say peace, mercy, and blessings to all the hopeful elect. The true name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, which means He exists, that He is to be. The true name of the Son is Yahweh Shai, which means He is the deliverer. We are the Hebrew Israelites. Today we're being called by bywords and proverbs such as black, Negro, colored, African American, Native American, Seminole Indian, Latin Hispanic, Cuban, Dominican, Puerto Rican, Mexican, Panamanian, Brazilian, etc. Actually, we're those people that make up the lost 12 tribes of Israel and the self-proclaimed white man, Caucasians, or Europeans. According to the Bible, they are Esau, Edom, Idumea, Mount Seir. Right, and according to Bible prophecy, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. Jacob's name was changed into Israel, and this lesson is going to be about how the second Exodus will be a lot different than the first Exodus. All right, because later on tonight is 1:53 a.m., and according to Esau's time, later on tonight, there's going to be what's called a blood worm moon. It says a blood moon eclipse is coming this weekend. Get ready for March's full blood worm moon, a phenomenon that will make the moon appear red during a total lunar eclipse. So this actually also falls on the night of the Passover of our Lord, which is a huge sign in the heavens. So this is a major omen. This is the book of Joel, chapter 2, and verse 30. I'm going to get right to the point. Actually, I started 28. It says, the promise of the Spirit. All right, and 50 days after the Passover, we have the Pesach, which means, not the Pesach is the Passover, but 50 days after the Passover of the Pesach, you have the day of Pentecost, which means 50 a day. And when you read Acts, the second chapter, that's when the men of the Lord received the power, and it came to Joel 2:28, and it came to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, which means to say before it happened. Doesn't mean that women are gonna, the Lord's gonna put the spirit on women to rise up and be teachers, and they're gonna do videos and be on the highways and hedges. No, but the Lord can give women dreams, things of that nature. I had, it's personal testimony. I had my own mom come to me with certain dreams and things that she's seen. Even going years back, when Biden was president, she was telling me that Trump is going to be president again. For example, it says, your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. And all type of brothers are having dreams and visions, things of that nature. The latest one is this video. This is a very powerful lesson, right? And then Mosai gave the brother a vision about the coming death angel, which is definitely from the spirit of power, Yahweh Shem El Shai, considering that we entering in the Passover. When you read Exodus, which I'll read it real quick. I'm going to end up bringing it out again. But this is Exodus 12:23. It says, for the Lord passed through to smite the Egyptians, and when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the two side posts, the Lord will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your house to smite you. So that destroyer is the death angel. So on the night of the Passover, the first one in Exodus, the death angel got released. So the brother had a vision of the death angel and the crowning ceremony, Joel 2:29, and also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour my spirit. So Yahweh Shem El Shai is pouring out his spirit, and I will shew wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke, right? And that's what's coming. They calling it a blood worm moon. You know, blood represents what? Death, destruction, bloodshed, judgment. You know, so it's very fitting. It shows you the signs of the times. Okay, the day of the Lord now will shew wonders, and so that's a great wonder. Okay, and it signifies the coming judgment, and we're praying, that the destroyer pass over us, man. You know, the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of Yahweh Shem Shai come. So before the day of the Lord come, there's going to be signs like blood moon, solar eclipses. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord, which the real name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, which means he exists, he is to be. The name of the Son is Yahweh Shai, which means he is deliverer. He is the deliverer, all right, whom the world ignorantly called God and Jesus Christ, so Yeshua, Yehoshua, Yahweh, Jehovah, Ahia, Yeshaya. All right, those are not the correct names, and that's very important that you have the name right, right? And it came to pass and it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Lord has said, and in the remnant whom the Lord shall call. So that goes into the elect, the elected. It tells you in the book of Sirach that the elect shall praise his his holy name. Okay, so I'm going to start from the beginning, just go over some of the differences, and also maybe some of the similarities. So how this Exodus, which means a going out, all right, will be different than the first. This is the book of Genesis chapter 15. You're going to jump down to verse 12. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram. And lo, and the horror of great darkness fell upon him. So almost like a nightmare, right? And he said unto Abram, which Abram means exalted father, and the name Abraham means a father of multitudes, a father of many nations, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in the land that is not there. So he wasn't talking about Ishmael, right? He was talking about the descendants from Isaac and Jacob. He wasn't talking about Esau either, because when the children of Israel, the Hebrews, left Egypt, they tried to seek help from Edom to pass through the land to make it to the Holy Land. Esau was like, hell no. So this ain't talking about the descendants of Ishmael or Edom. It's talking about from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? Which Jacob's name got changed to Israel, right? And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in the land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years, right? And we can read about that, which I'll get it after this, in Exodus 1. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great sustenance. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace, and thou shalt be buried in a good old age. So the Lord told Abraham that you're gonna die in a good old age, a peaceful death. 16. But in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. But he was just letting them know, your descendants gonna be slaves in the land of Egypt 400 years. All right, that's what it's talking about, right? So some, different Israelite groups, they would say, well, the 400 years is talking about now, from 1619 to 2019. There's already been 400 years. Okay, so that prophecy is off. That doesn't apply that applied to back then. It doesn't. The 400-year doctrine does not apply to now. Okay, so that's totally off. So let's go to Exodus 1 because that's what it's talking about. This is the book of Exodus chapter 1, and I'm going to jump down to 7. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them, right? Because there was a famine in the land of Canaan, and going all the way back to the time of Israel. He had, 12 sons, right? He's the patriarch of the 12 tribes of Israel. And he had his son Joseph through Rachel, right? But the Lord set it up to where Joseph's brother was going to sell him to Egypt. And the reason why the Lord did that was to preserve the nation, because the Most High had made Joseph pretty much the second in command, right, under Pharaoh in Egypt, all right? And everybody had to go to Egypt to get food because the famine was so great, So that was the Lord allowing this prophecy to be fulfilled by bringing us to the land of Egypt, right? So that's how we got there, and for lack of better words. Exodus 1 and 9, he said unto his people, the children of Israel are more mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there fall out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. So that's the Most High putting that spirit on the Pharaoh, all right, to have an evil eye toward us and to oppress us. 11. Therefore did they set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramesses. So that was a hardcore house of bondage for us where we were afflicted. 12. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. They made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made to serve was with rigor. Okay? So that's how, so when you go to Genesis 15, that's what that's talking about. Okay? It doesn't apply to America. Okay? And it wasn't 400 years. It was longer than that, right? So let's go right to the point in that. This is the book of Exodus chapter 12 and verse 40. Now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years. So it wasn't even exactly 400 years, because it's a doctrine that was going around. Right, you get 2019. So in the year 2019, that was Israelites saying that we were going to be delivered because it was 400 years. And here it is, 2025. It's what they should have did. They should have put 430 because that's what the scriptures say, right? But Lord willing, we understand that we definitely don't. We're not going to be here that long. To 2020 to 2049. Hell no. There's a guy by the name of Sir John Glubb. Right, he has a book called The Fate of Empires, where he studied, the empires from the past, such as, Medo-Persian, Roman Empire, Greek Empire, and those empires roughly lasted about 250 years. Okay, so you look at America, this is the 249th year of this empire. And not saying that we have another year here, because the scriptures does say, pray for a few days unto you. Then the Lord, Yahweh said, he will shorten the days for his elect's sake. And says, so he also said the devils come down unto you having great wrath because he know he has a short time. So Esau in his spirit, he's starting to see he don't have much time to fulfill his new world order. So that's the difference, from the first Exodus, right, to the second Exodus. We're not going to be here for 430 years. Okay, Esau's on borrowed time already. You know, the next point I wanted to make on how, you know, it's going to be a difference. This is Exodus chapter 12 and 33. And the Egyptians were urgent upon the people, right, that they might send them out of the land in haste, for they said we be all dead men, right? Because the Most High started showing his wonders, plaguing them, you know. And the people took their dough before it was leavened, their netting doughs were being bound up in their clothes upon their shoulders. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses, and they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. 36. And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required, and they spoiled the Egyptians. So during the first Exodus, you know, it was there roughly 430 years. Then we went out. And then on top of that, we didn't go out empty-handed. You know, I believe it says that too. This is Genesis 15. Yep, Genesis 15:14. And also that nation whom they shall serve, I will judge, and afterward they shall come out with great substance. So when you go back here, this is the children of Israel leaving the first Exodus with that great substance, right? Let's go to Exodus 3. This is Exodus chapter 3, verse 19. And I am sure that the king of Egypt would not let you go, no, not by a mighty hand, because the Most High was going to harden his heart to show his power. 20. And I will stretch out my hand and smite Egypt with all my wonders. So that's the locust, death of the firstborn, the plague upon the cattle, the lice, the frogs, the darkness, etc. Okay, and after that he will let you go. 21. And I will give this people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, and it shall come to pass that when you go, you shall not go out empty. So that's fulfilling the prophecy that the Lord told Abram. 22. But every woman shall borrow of her neighbor, and her that sojourn in her house, jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment, and ye shall put them upon your sons and upon your daughters, and ye shall spoil the Egyptians. So the first Exodus was there 430 years, and we went out. Okay, and we didn't go out empty-handed. We spoiled the Egyptians. Okay, this time the days, Yahweh Shem Yahushai is shortening the days for the elect's sake. I believe that's Mark 11. This is Mark 11. Okay, excuse me. This is Mark 13 and 20. And except that the Lord has shortened those days, no flesh should be saved. So in this time, you know, the Most High shortened the days. Okay, no flesh should be saved, but for the elect's sake whom he had chosen, he has shortened in the days. Okay, and another aspect about this time that we're waiting for a couple major prophecies to come to pass. We're not waiting for 400 years to expire. Okay, this is the book of Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So, you know, we're waiting for the second coming of Yahushua, right? So certain prophecies have to be fulfilled. starting with the waking up of the elect being sealed. The 12,000 from each tribe, the instruction getting let loose. You know, the hour of temptation, which is the mark of the beast, the Rice device, the third woe, World War III, right? Which the time simultaneously with the third woe, it's gonna Yahushua is gonna appear in the midst of these nations, destroying one another and deliver his elect. All right, the nukes are gonna destroy Babylon, and also the chariots are going to destroy Babylon. So all these visions are for a point in time, but they're now speaking. We see them speaking, you know, because we're measuring the time. This is 2 Ezra chapter 9. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that at the very same time wherein the highest to begin to visit the world which he made. So we see wars and rumors of wars. We see earthquakes. We see blood moons. We see solar eclipses. We see different brothers waking up, members of the elect waking up, brothers being sealed, calling on the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, going back to the whole old ways, keeping the Passover, things of that nature. All right? So that's part of the signs past, because it says in Revelation 11, the Spirit of life entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon all of them which saw them. So that's just another point I wanted to make, how the second Exodus be a lot different than the first. The first Exodus, we were in Egypt for 430 years. Then we left. Another thing about this second Exodus, all the Israelites left, right? This is Exodus 12. Let me just start at 1, right? The Passover lamb. And the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. So this month, the Passover is in the first month of the year. So it's our new year. All right? Our new year does not start, uh, so-called January 1st at midnight, according to Esau. That's the devil thinking to change times and times in the dead of winter. Our new year actually starts in the spring, which we're in. This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for a house. Another thing that's different about this Exodus, and us leaving and different Passovers we keep, in our generation, we're not keeping the law of animal sacrifice. Yahushua is our Passover lamb. Okay? The law of animal sacrifice was done away with when Yahushua got on that cross, during the Passover, might I add. He is the Passover lamb. Let's get that. This is 1 Corinthians 5 and 7 says, purge out that old leaven, which that's symbolic of corruption, that ye may be a new lump, new creature, without corruption, as ye are unleavened. For even Hamashiach, our Passover, is sacrificed for us. Right? I forget where that scriptures was at. There is another one in John. This is John 1:29. The next day John seeth Yahushua coming unto him, and said, Behold, the Lamb of Yahweh, which taketh away the sin of the world. Now that world is talking about is the world of Israel. All right, so Yahushua is the Passover lamb. All right, so in this time, we don't actually, even though, brothers are going to keep the Passover, we don't actually have to go and get a lamb, all right, and sacrifice it, because the law of animal sacrifice is done away with. And on top of that, Yahushua is our Passover lamb. So this was all a shadow of things to come, you know. This is just like it says in the book of Hebrews. This is Exodus 12:3. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for a house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it, according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your account for the lamb. 5. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats, and ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. 7. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper doorposts of the houses wherein they shall eat. So in this time, we're not taking a lamb, sacrifice it, and putting the blood on the doorposts of our houses. A lot of brothers, a few sisters, believers, don't even have homes. You may have just an apartment. So imagine you trying to buy a lamb or a goat. You can get a goat too. Then you have to make sure it's without blemish. Then you got to slaughter it and put the blood on the door of your house. So we're not doing that. So right now, we're doing it spiritually. You putting the blood on the house is you in your mind believing on Yahweh Shem Yahushua, calling on those names, having faith, because the Lord already gave up his life for us. So we don't have to go and sacrifice a lamb this time. All right. 12:6. And you shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper doorposts of the houses wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire, and unleavened bread and bitter herbs shall we eat it. Now we are going to do that. And for bitter herbs, we use horseradish root. And there's also other bitter herbs out there, but that's the one, we've been using. And for unleavened bread, you just get some tortilla chips or, my grocery store, there's a kosher section where actually you can buy a box of, crackers, but it doesn't have any yeast agents, any leavening agents, so it's pretty much unleavened bread, And now you pretty much buy some lamb from the store and cook it. See, we're just rehearsing, okay? Back then, the children of Israel actually had land and cattle. Right now, we don't have any of that, It's the book of Judges, chapter 5, and verse 11. They that are delivered from the noise of archers, and the places of drawing water. So it says they that are delivered from the noise of archers. So that's going into the second Exodus. Okay, the archers is talking about the nuclear missiles, ICBMs, and places of drawing water is dealing with slave work. This is Joshua chapter 9. This is when the Israelites, so starting with Joshua, put these heathens in slavery, pretty much. is Joshua 9:1. And it came to pass when all the kings were on this side of Jordan in the hills and in the valleys and in the coast of the great sea over against Lebanon, the Hittite and the Amorite, the Canaanite and the Perizzite and the Hivite and the Jebusite heard thereof, that they gathered themselves together to fight with Joshua and with Israel with one accord. And when the inhabitants of Gibeon heard what Joshua had done unto Jericho and to Ai, they did work willily, and went and made it as they had been ambassadors, and took old sacks upon the asses, and wine bottles, old and rent up and bound, and old shoes and cloths upon their feet, and old garments upon them, and all the bread of their provision was dry and moldy. And they went to Joshua unto the camp at Gilgal, and said unto him and to the men of Israel, we come from a far country, now therefore make ye a league with us. So they tried to deceive them, like they came from a far country, but the Spirit revealed, all right, and this was what happened to them. This is Joshua 9 and 19. But all the princes said unto the congregation, we have sworn unto them by Yahweh, by Shem Shai of Israel. Now therefore we may not touch them. This will we do to them. We will even let them live, lest wrath be upon us, because of the oath which we swear unto them. And the princes said unto them, let them live, but let them be hewers of wood and drawers of water unto all the congregation, as the princes has promised us. So pretty much put them in slavery, And Joshua called for them, and he spake unto them, saying, wherefore have ye beguiled us, saying, we are very far from you when you dwell among us? Now therefore ye are cursed, and there shall none of you be free from being bondmen and hewers of wood and drawers of water for the house of my power. So Joshua put them in slavery. So when you go to Judges 5:11, it says, they that are delivered from the noise of archers in the places of drawing water, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord. So in captivity, right? So notice it says so speaking about us being in captivity, it says, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord, even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of his villages in Israel. Then shall the people of Yahweh Shem Shai go down to the gates, right? So let's look up the word rehearse. It says to give an account of, report, tell, narrate, speak of right words, repeat, all right? To go over again, repeat, literally to rake over. So we're just rehearsing the righteous acts, and one of those righteous acts is keeping the Passover as a memorial unto all generations. So it's all just a rehearsal. So we're doing the best of our ability, but in this time we do have understanding that Yahweh Shai is our Passover lamb. We don't have to go and get a lamb. We're not under the Levitical. We're not under the old covenant. We're not under the Levitical priesthood, because you would have to get a Levite priest too, But Yahweh Shai is our priest after the order from Melchizedek. He's our high priest, This is Exodus 12:7. They shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on upper doorposts of the houses wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs shall they eat it. 9. Eat not of it raw, nor sodden it all with water, but roast with fire, his head with his legs, and the puritans thereof. 10. And ye shall let nothing of it remain in the morning, and that which remaining of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire. 11. And thus shall you eat it with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Yahweh Shem Shai's Passover. So it's not a lamb dinner. You pretty much you're on the ready. You got your staff in your hand, your loins girded, your boots laced up, and you're eating in haste. You're not sitting down. You damn sure not at the damn strip club, but you're in a serious mind state. 12. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt, I will execute judgment, for I am Yahweh Bashem El Shai. 13, and the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses wherein ye are, and when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. So, during the first Exodus, the death angel passed over the children of Israel. Okay? And all of Israel made it out, right? This is Exodus 12. I'm going to jump down to 37. It says, and the children of Israel journeyed from Ramesses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot that were men beside children. So during the first Exodus, all the Israelites, all the Hebrews pretty much made it out. And the death angel passed over them. 38. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even much cattle. All right? But during this time, right, only the elect will make it out. This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 13, and verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, said the Lord, Yahweh Bashem El Shai, and it's dealing with America. The Exodus is mainly going to take part in America. There's going to be the Great Awakening is happening in here, and the Great Deliverance is going to happen here, right? And it shall come to pass that in all the land, said the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. So you have a 1/3, and you have a 2/3, right? And 2/3 of the nation, they're going to die. A lot of them are going to take the chip. A lot of them just aren't believers. And bottom line, this is not of the Lord's elect, 9, and I will bring the third part through the fire, right? And will refine them as silver is refined. So that fire is speaking about trials and tribulation, and the refining process is making the elect perfect through sufferings. Just as Yahushua was made perfect through sufferings. And will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name. That's the key right there, right? And I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is my power. This is Sirach 17, I believe it's verse 10. And verse 10, and the elect shall praise his holy name. The chosen are going to praise Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Okay, so again, there's another difference. How the second Exodus will be a lot different from the first Exodus. The second Exodus, 2/3 of our people are not going to make it out. They're going to die here, right? Going back to Exodus. This is Exodus 14. I'm going to jump down to 21. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind, right? Because this was when we left, the Most High smote the firstborn. So, they let us leave, and we left with great substance. When we came to a point to where they started to chase us, to try to put us back in slavery, all right? Exodus 14:21. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon dry ground. So the most high part of the Red Sea, all right? And the waters will wall unto them on their right hand and on their left hand. So this is a, very miraculous, amazing event. And the best way I could put it in words today, it's like, imagine you go into an aquarium, a nice aquarium, You see all type of creatures, you know. And the Egyptians pursued and went in after them to the midst of the sea, even all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. 24. And it came to pass that in the morning watch the Lord looked unto the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of the fire and of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians, and took off their chariot wheels, that they drave them heavily, so that the Egyptians said, Let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord Yahweh Shem El Shai fighteth for them against the Egyptians. And the Lord said unto Moses, Stretch out thy hand over the sea, that the waters may come again upon the Egyptians, and upon their chariots, and upon their horsemen. Right? And Moses stretched forth his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to its strength when the morning appeared, and the Egyptians fled against it. And the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. Right? And the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the hosts of Pharaoh that came in the sea after them. There remained not so much as of one of them. But of the children of Israel walked upon dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left hand. Thus Yahweh Shem Yoshai saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Israel saw the Egyptians dead upon the seashore. And Israel saw that great work which the Lord did upon the Egyptians. And people feared Yahweh Shem Yoshai and believed Yahweh Shem Yoshai and the servant Moses. Okay? And this is going to happen again, but it's going to be in a different fashion, you know? This is Psalms 110 and verse 3. Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, and the beauties of holiness from the womb of the morning. Thou hast to do with thy youth. Right, in the first Exodus, you know, Moses and Aaron were given power. You know, so this time you're going to have men of Yahweh Shem El Shai. They're going to be given power, spiritual power. All right, we saw that. We can read about that in the book of Acts. Actually, let's see this. This is Luke 40:24 and 49. And behold, I send you the promise of my Father upon you, but tarry ye in the city of Jerusalem until ye be endued with power from on high. Right? And you can read about that in Acts chapter 2, where the Most High sent down the power to his men. So in this time, men are going to get power. Okay, but all Israel is not going to make it out. We're not going to cross the Red Sea in like we did in Exodus chapter 14. Okay. Now, in the aspect of Babylon the Great being destroyed, right? So this is actually, let's go to that, because this is proof that we're in Egypt again. This is Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8. It says, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city. That's America. The dead bodies is meaning the Israelites were spiritually dead. You know, they don't know who they are. They're wearing dreads. You know, a lot of the men are down low, homosexual, transgenders, women are lesbian. They're smoking. They're worshiping Jesus Christ. They're Muslims. They're dead, you know, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. So this is spiritually Egypt. Why? Because this is a house of bondage for the Israelites, and there's going to be a second Exodus, where our Lord also was crucified. Because when these people mention Jesus or the Son of God, they think about a white man, you know, with long hair, blue eyes, white skin, which is actually leprous skin. They think the Lord loves everybody. They think you're going to die and go to hell, or you can go to heaven, you know. So the Lord's characteristic was crossed out here. When you read the scriptures, you find out the Lord only came to save his people, the Israelites, that he's an austere man, you know, yet merciful, you know. But a lot of the characteristics of the Lord, you don't really learn about here. They don't even tell you how he looked. You know, there was a so-called man of color with woolly hair, red eyes, All right, so dark as he burned in the furnace. People in the world will laugh at you if you tell them that. That's how strong the spell is. Right, 11. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. Meaning the other nations know who we are. They, a lot of them, they know our history better than us. All right, but they're not going to tell us. They're not going to give us any rest. Meaning they're not going to suffer the dead bodies to be put in graves. 10. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them. Right, they're happy to see us in this state, and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. And that's going into the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. It's no coincidence that, right around this time, you have a series come out speaking about the house of David. There's no, now mind you, the cast may be Ishmaelites and Edomites, but it's still spiritual. If you can get past that, what you got to get past is it's a great show. Might I add, we know how the people looked. This is Revelation chapter 11 and verse 11. And after 3 days and a half, which from about 1619 to about 1969, 1970, all right. And after 3 days and a half, the Spirit of life, all right, which is the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, knowledge, wisdom, understanding of the scriptures, who we are, what it's talking about, the name of the Lord, entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, all right, going out to the highways and hedges, all right, and great fear fell upon them which saw them, because the other nations were saying like, oh shit, they woke up, they know who they are. We didn't. How the hell did they know? But it's the Spirit. 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. So these that's speaking about the elect, all right? And this time it's all about the elect, right? And they ascended up to heaven in the cloud, and their enemies beheld them. So these people, they're going to see the elect being delivered, man. Our enemies going to behold us, all right? I believe that's what, 2 Thessalonians. 1 Thessalonians. This is 1 Thessalonians 4 and 13. But I would have you not be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, that you sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. For if we believe that Yahushua died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Yahushua will Yahweh bring with them. 15. For this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep. Asleep meaning the ones that have died, may have been martyrs or passed away in the faith. 16. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of Yahweh, and the dead in Yahushua shall rise first. So those martyrs, the brothers that died doing the work, they're going to be risen up first, man. Right? Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. Wherefore comfort one another with these words. But that's only the elect on this side. 2/3 of our people are not going to make it. All right? So Revelation chapter 7. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power, and he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. So that wind is talking about the destruction, which is going to come from the nukes, martial law, Jacob's trouble. When all this shit start happening, so we're going to definitely know the elect is sealed, if they're not sealed already, because we know we're very close to it. With everything Trump doing with the tariffs, the CBDCs, the digital currencies, Trump coin, There's a picture on him. I forget which magazine it is, but he's burning the dollar. All right. So there's an economic collapse coming. So we're very close to the destruction anyway. Okay. So I speak as a man. So the elect got to be sealed, if not very close to it. You know. Revelation 7:2. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power. And he cried with a loud voice to the four angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their forehead. So destruction ain't going to happen till the elect gets sealed, right? Once the elect is sealed, which goes into the 12,000 from each tribe, 144,000, right? But then you also have the 1/3, right? Men, women, children, friends of the prophets, right? Those that amongst the elect are going to be willing when the men get power. What about when New Jerusalem come down from the ships? Israelites that may be scattered all over the globe, you know? This is, okay, I got to go back to that. This is Revelation chapter 11 and verse 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. So the ones that's going to go up hither is the elect, right? That's what it's talking about, Zechariah. I'll bring the third part through the fire. So this time the Red Sea is going to be Babylon burning. It's going to be a sea of fire. The elect are going to be brought through by the chariots, right? And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. 13. In the same hour there was a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. I mean, it's going to be completely destroyed. The earthquake is going to come from the nukes rocking the earth, right? This is Isaiah 24 and verse 20. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard. So that's going to cause that's an earthquake. But what's going to cause that? The nukes hitting. And shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression of shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. Babylon is never going to be inhabited again. Right? Rev 11:13. In the same hour there was a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell, and in the earthquake was slain of men 7,000, everyone who's not of the elect, whether you're Israelite or not. Right? And the remnant, the elect, were frightened and gave glory to Yahweh by Shem Yahushua of heaven. You're right, because that's going to be dealing with the king of terrorists, man. Even that brother's dream, it's terrible. This Revelation 15:1. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up with the wrath of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. 2. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and that's the elect on the chariots, after the enemies beheld them, got pulled through the fire, looking down out the windows of the chariot at America, Babylon the Great, burning. All right? Burning from the nuclear destruction, and also from the chariots bringing that destruction. And them that had gotten victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, and they sing the song of Moses, the servant of Yahweh, right? And the song of the Lamb, saying, great and marvelous are thy works, Lord power almighty, just and true are thy ways, thou King of the saints. Right? So when you go back to the song of Moses in Exodus 15, that's dealing with the Most High destroying the Egyptians in the Red Sea. This time the Egyptians are going to be destroyed in the nuclear Red Sea. Okay. So I'll get one more. This is Jeremiah chapter 16 and verse 14. Therefore, behold, the days come, said Yahweh by Shem Yahushua power, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, but the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north. and from all the lands where he had driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. So that's the time we're coming in, man. We're coming into a second Exodus. You know, later tonight's going to be the blood moons, also the Passover. You know, I pray this has been edifying. I want to give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Again, giving double honors unto our apostles, and that was a great millstone. The hopeful elect say shalom.